Today we're making a student dashboard in Notion from scratch. This video is a build tutorial, so let's get straight into it. So the first thing we're going to do is create a database which will hold all of our courses/classes. So we're going to do /database and click on table view. Here we're going to click on new database. So I'll call this courses. Now we can change this from a list view to a gallery view by clicking on the three dots, clicking on layout, and then clicking on gallery. Right now they're quite large, so we'll just change the card size here from medium to small, and we can click on this crosshair. Now what I'll do is go up to these three dots and click on full width. So here you can fill out your different courses. So I'm just going to write marketing, Notion studies. Now what we're going to do here is create all of the databases first and then connect them and make them all work together. So the next database we need is /database, table view, click on new database, and this will have all of our assignments. So we can rename this tags property, rename this, and let's call this stage. And by default, it's going to create a multi-select property. So we're going to click on this and click on edit property and change this from multi-select to a select. So just click on that and then cross. So here we're going to have the different stages of our assignments. So we're going to click here. We might have started, working on, submitted. Now we don't need a haven't started yet property, as that will just be another unnecessary tag, and by default it will be not started. So we can change these colors as well, just by clicking on these three dots. Let's do orange for started, working on can be yellow, submitted green. Now another property I'll add here is a URL. So I'll just scroll down and click on URL here. So this can have a link to the actual assignment brief. Then we'll add another property here, which will be a simple text property. And this will be our grade. So we'll put that there. Now you could always do this as a number. So if you're working with A, B minus, all of that stuff, then you could have it as a text. Or if you're getting graded by number, so let's say 90 out of 100, then you can always change this from a text to a number. So I'll just do number for this one. Then we're going to add another property here, which is going to be the due date for the actual assignment. So we'll scroll down until we see date, and we'll click on that, and we'll call this due date. Click on the cross. I'll move this to the left-hand side. I think that makes most sense. Now let's create another database. This is going to handle all of our notes. So we're going to click on table view, and we're going to click again on new database. And this one will be class notes. Bear in mind, everything's not going to sit on the one dashboard like it's doing now. We're going to move stuff about so they have their own spaces and things are going to connect to each other. Right now, we're just creating all of the databases first so we know what to connect with what. So for class notes, I'm going to delete this tags property and I'm going to add a property which is the date. So I want to know what date did I actually take these notes. Now what I want to know with a class notes is what course is it relating to? What class is it relating to? So what we're going to do here is use a relation property. So we'll click on the plus here. We're going to scroll down and we're going to see this thing called a relation. Now if you haven't used a relation property before, it's not as scary as it sounds. We're going to click on this and it's basically going to ask here, hey, what database do you want this to talk to? So we want the class notes database to talk to the courses or classes database. So we'll click on that. Now it's going to ask us some questions. So yes, we want it to relate to the courses database. Now it's saying, do you want a limit on this? Now we don't need to set a limit on this. We can, but I don't know if there's a point. And then it's going to ask, do you want to show this on the courses? So do you want to show this stuff on the courses page? And we do, but we don't want to do it in this way here. There's a better way of doing it, and I'm going to walk you through that. So we'll click on add relation here. So now you can see this property shows up here. And if we click on this, it's going to show us marketing and Notion studies. It is showing us these options here. So now we have the courses database, the assignments database, and the class notes database. If you're finding this helpful, please subscribe. Now what we're going to do is create a timetable. Now there's a bunch of different ways we could do this. We could do this as columns. We could do this as a simple table, but I'm going to do another database here instead. /data, click on table view, new database, and we'll call this timetable. I'll delete this tags property again, delete. And this name property, we're going to rename and call this time. Make this smaller. And then here we'll press on the plus. And we are going to do, once again, a relation. So click on relation. And then here we want to connect this with the course or the class. So click on that. We'll want no limit, don't show on courses, add relation. Now what we're going to do here is call this Monday. So now here for Monday, we can click here and we can see marketing and Notion studies. So if we add some times to this, say 7, 8, 9, and then we'll do this process again. So we'll click on the plus here, scroll down, click on relation, click on courses, and do this from Monday to Friday. So now we have a timetable that is connected to our courses. So if I were to click here at 8 a.m. on Tuesday and say marketing, I can now see that I have marketing at 8 a.m. on Tuesday. And if I click on this, I can actually open up the marketing page. And yes, on this page here, we're going to add the assignments and the class notes that are only relevant to marketing. I'll show you how to do that later in this video. So now the next thing I want to see is the due date for all of these assignments coming up in order. So I'm going to add some due dates here. I'm going to say this one is on Wednesday and this one is on Saturday. What I'm going to do here is add a sorting to this. So in Notion, if you don't know, there's filters that you can play with. There is sorting that you can play with, and you can also work with groups. If you want, let me know and I can do a separate video on these three just to explain them in detail. But what we're going to do here is click on sort. And what we want to sort by is the due date. So here we can choose, do we want to sort by ascending or descending? So you can see if it says descending, April 13th is showing up first. And if I change this to ascending, you can see that April 10th is showing up first. So we're going to want it as ascending. That way, whatever is coming up next will show up first at the top of this list. By the way, if you've made it this far, you're doing really well. The hardest part of Notion is really getting a grip and an understanding of databases. If you've seen any other templates to do with student life and stuff like that, they're probably working with columns like this. This is not the most ideal way to work. I have separate videos on that. It really will not help you. To get the most out of Notion, you want to be working with databases. If you're using columns and just typing text, it's practically like using a glorified Word doc. To make your student life easier, you really want to be utilizing the power of Notion databases. And you're going to see when all of this connects together why it's so much better than using columns. All right, let's create the next one. The next one is research. So we're going to do /database and click on table view, click on new database, and we're going to call this one research. So when we're doing research, we want to connect it to two databases. We want it to relate to an assignment, but also relate to a specific course. So when we're doing some research, it might not be for a specific assignment that we're doing, but it might just be some good research that we want to note down. And that might not be specific to an assignment, but just important for a course. So what we're going to do here is add two properties. First, let's delete this tags property. Then let's click on the plus, scroll down, and we're going to do relation. And this relation is going to be to an assignment. So we're going to click on the assignments database here. If you cannot see it in this list, by the way, because you have a ton of different databases that you're working with, you can just search for it up here. So if I search for assignment, you can see that it's going to come up here. So I'll click on that and then click on add relation. Again, we don't need to show on assignment and we don't need a limit. So click add relation. Now we want to add one more property here, and this is going to be a relation again, and it's going to relate to our courses. So we'll click on that and click on add relation. So now when we're doing research and we have a specific piece of research, we can type it in here and then relate it to a specific assignment that we're doing and relate it to a specific course. So let's say we're doing an assignment for our marketing class. Then we're going to see on this page here, I'm going to show you how to do all of this, by the way, we're going to see all of the relevant research showing up. This way of using Notion when everything is connected and speaking to each other is when you really get the most use out of it. You don't want to just be creating a nice Word document with pretty pictures. You want to be creating a space that actually helps you to work faster. All right, now we have all of the major components that we need for a student dashboard. The one missing thing is an overall to-do list. If you haven't checked out my headquarters template, I recommend having a look. It is my all-in-one Notion system to keep you organized, productive, and motivated. As of recording this, it has 5 stars with over 700 users. I've designed it to be the most productive workspace possible. It handles your tasks, your projects, your life buckets, your notes, your resources, your journaling, your bottlenecks, your moving the needle. There's so much built into this to make it a productive workspace. If you're interested in learning more, there is a link in the description. All right, so now we have all of the different databases that we need. We have the courses, assignments, class notes, timetable, and research. So let's now make all of these different things connect and talk to each other. The first thing we're going to do here is click on plus for assignments, and we're just going to give it a relation to say, I want it to talk to this specific course. So we're going to click on the plus, scroll down and click on relation. Here we're going to say the courses or classes, whatever you call that database, and click on add relation. Again, we will not click on show on courses. We are going to do that manually instead to get a better result. So click on add relation and then close this. So now for the course gallery, we're going to create a template. And this template will be saying, I want to see the assignments that are relevant to this course. Hence we have this property. I want to see the class notes that are relevant to the course. Hence we have this property. And I want to see the research that is related to this course. Hence we have this property here. So we'll scroll up and we'll click on this down arrow here on the courses database and click on new template. Now let's open this up and I'll type new course or new class. Here we can click on the add icon and we can add either an emoji, an icon, or we could do a custom one. So if you want to upload a custom image. So I'll just do a circle to keep it simple. Now we'll click on these three dots here at the top and just do full width. That way, by default, when we create a new course, it will be a full width page. Now what we want to do is show on this new courses page the relevant assignments, class notes, and research. So let's do / database and click on table view. This time we will not be creating a new database. We want to show an existing database. So we're going to click on the assignments database. So we'll click on that. And then here we can copy an existing view. So right now we only have one view for this database. So we'll just click on the table view and then click on the crosshair. Now what we want to do is add a rule. And this rule is basically going to be saying, hey, I only want to see the assignments that relate to this new course. So we'll click on the filter. And then here we're going to click on courses. And now we're going to say whether course contains new course. Now bear in mind, as we create an actual new course, this will automatically get updated. So for this, as it is a template, we want to have new course and select new course. You do not want to select marketing or Notion studies or whatever you have, as you will then have to change this for every single time you create a new course. You want to just select new course here. Now, as you can see, nothing is showing up because we have no assignments that are relating to new course. So now we'll do the same thing with class notes, do / database and click on table view. And then here we'll click on class notes. And then again, we'll copy the existing view of table, click on the cross, and here we're doing the same thing. We're adding a filter with courses, and we're saying, hey, only show me stuff that is relating to new course. As you can see, this is going to make your studies so much easier because now when you're in a specific class or course, you're only seeing the stuff that's related to it. And you can take notes a lot easier, and they're actually going to be showing up where you want to see them. The last one here, / database, table view, and this is going to be the research. Again, if you cannot see it, you're just going to type it up here, but I can see it at the top here. Click on research, and again, just copy an existing view of table and click on cross. And then once again, we're clicking on filter, clicking on courses, and saying we only want stuff relating to new course. Now, as you can see, it is saying table for all of these. If you want, you can change this. You can rename. I'll call it research. And here we can actually click on this and we can change the icon. So I might do a magnifying glass, click on that. And then we can hide this if we don't want to see it twice. To do that, we'll click on the three dots. We'll click on layout. And then here we see show database title. We can turn that off. So now it just looks a bit cleaner, a bit more minimalistic. So I can do the same thing here. Click on this, rename. So now that we have these three databases, we can click out of this template by using the breadcrumbs here at the top. So I'll click to the student dashboard. So now in our courses here, if we click on marketing, you can see new course shows up. So if I click on that, so now automatically it changes assignments and it changes this to only show stuff relating to marketing. It shows on here, filter, only stuff relating to marketing. Here, only stuff relating to marketing. This is so awesome and useful. I cannot recommend it enough. And this is already extremely efficient, but I'm going to show you at the end how to make this even more efficient. Again, this entire tutorial is free. If you're finding it useful, please hit the like and subscribe. Now, the last template that we want to create is the assignments. So we're going to click on the down arrow here for the assignments and click on new template. And we'll call this new assignment. We can add an icon. I'll do this document icon. Again, we can click on these three dots and do full width. So on this page, we want to see any research that is specifically related to an assignment. Again, as you can see, everything being connected is going to make your life so much easier, because now when you're writing an assignment, you're only going to see the relevant stuff that you need. You don't have to scroll through notes of a bunch of random stuff that isn't related to this. You're only seeing the stuff that actually matters for this assignment. You're going to save a ton of time, but also just cognitive effort, because it takes a lot of effort to scroll through notes and read a bunch of different stuff, and you're doing a lot of context switching with that. So here we're going to click on table view, And again, we are going to select an existing database. We do not want to create a new database. We want to select the research database. So I'll click on that and then click on table view. And then again, what we're doing here is clicking on filter. And we're saying, hey, I only want to see stuff that is relating to this specific assignment. So we're going to click on the assignment here, and we are going to click on new assignment. So now it is only going to show research that is relating to this assignment. And again, we can change this table here, and I will call this research, click on the cross, and then using the breadcrumbs, we can go back. So now let's make this a bit more pretty because it's looking very dull and confusing. So at the top here, I'm going to move the timetable to the top, and I'm actually just going to put this in a toggle. So to do that, I can either write /toggle and click on toggle list, or my preferred way of doing it is just to do this icon and spacebar, and now you have a toggle. So here I can write timetable and drag that and put that in. Again, I'm going to rename this table, call it timetable, change this, do a calendar icon maybe, click on that. So now I have that here at the top, but it's hidden because most likely you're going to learn your timetable pretty quickly. But if you ever want to see it, it's still here at the top. Now, if you want to change the font, you can do that just by clicking on the 3 dots up here and changing it to serif. This already makes it look more aesthetic. And I'll just delete these blank assignments here, delete. Same thing with class notes, delete them. Same thing with research, delete that. And now the last thing that I was hinting at before is we want to make taking notes and taking research very, very easy and seamless. So to do that, we are going to add some buttons here at the top. So we'll add some space and write button. So this button here is basically going to say, anytime I press on this, what I want to do is take a note for a class. So up here, we'll say new class note, and then we can add an emoji. So I'll just do the pen emoji. And then what we're saying is when the button is clicked, then what I want it to do is to add a page. So a page in a database is the same thing as an item in a database, or the same thing as a row in a database. So we'll click add page to, and then we want to select the database. So for the new class note, we wanted to add a page to the class notes. And then the last thing here to make this work is to add another step where we now want to open the page. Because if we just press on that, it's just going to create a blank space, which isn't very helpful. So we then want to open that page and change this open select page to open new page added. So now we're saying when I press on this, so when the button is clicked, I want to add a page to my class notes, and I want to open up that new page that I just created, and I want to open it in center peak. You can change it to side peak or full page. Personally, I prefer center peak. And then we'll click on done. So now if I'm sitting in class and I want to take a note, I can click here. I could say blah, blah, blah. I could say the relevant course. So this is a note relevant to marketing. Click on that, click away. And now all of a sudden it will show up in marketing. Here you can see blah, blah, blah showing up. Another thing to mention is as you click on new note and you type example thing, in here you can add a lot more details. So I recommend this being the overarching note idea, and then here you actually adding all the details for the note, and then make sure you just select the course that you want it to relate to. So again, marketing, click away, and now in marketing we can see example thing and blah, blah, blah. Now, as you can see when we click on new note, the date remains empty. What you could do if you're not taking old notes using this system, by default, if you want, you can have the date actually get automatically added. So to do that, we'll click on this gear icon and we'll say here, edit another property. What we want to do is the date automatically is now, and then click on done. So now when I click on new class note, as you can see, the date automatically gets added, and it's even adding the time because I clicked on now. So we have the new class note up here, and we can do the same thing with research. So you just do /button, click on that, new research, add an emoji. When button is clicked, add page to, select the database. We want to add this to research. Click on add another step, open up page, select the page, the new page that was added, click on done, and there you have it. Now you could do another button for add a new course and add a new assignment, but they are not happening as often. We only want buttons for stuff that we're actually using. A lot of Notion dashboards have way too many buttons and way too many quick actions that you just never use, and it just makes the system more complicated. Remember, a simple looking dashboard is one that you'll actually use and stick to. Don't overcomplicate it, don't add too many stuff. So now what we can do is hide the class notes and hide the research in their own pages. So I'll write class notes and I'll write research, and then I'll just highlight these two and click on these 6 dots next to it. and we're going to do turn into page. So now it's turned these two from text into pages. So now class notes, I'll add the icon of the pen, and for research, I will add the emoji of the magnifying glass. I can use the 6 dots to drop it in here, and for class notes, I can use these 6 dots and drop it in there. If I click on a course here like marketing, I can open this up and see all the relevant assignments, I can see all of the relevant class notes, and I can see all of the relevant research. And then if I click on new assignment, let's say report, and the relevant course is marketing, if I open this up and I click on new assignment, then here I can see all of the relevant research that is filtered to only show me stuff related to this report. Now another thing we could do here to the assignments is say I only want to see stuff that hasn't been submitted or completed. So to do that, what we're going to do is rename this table to uncompleted. Click on this and change it to a circle. And we're going to add a filter where the stage, change it from is to is not submitted, and then right click on uncompleted, do duplicate and do completed. Change this emoji to a check emoji, there we go. And then change this filter here to say where the stage is submitted. So now on this tab, we're seeing only the assignments that we've completed, and in this tab, we're seeing all the assignments that we haven't completed. So what you can do in the uncompleted tab is actually hide the grade because that isn't relevant. So we're going to do hide in view. We do not want to delete property as that removes it from the database. But if we're hiding in view, we're saying I do not want to see it on this tab. So I'll click hide in view. But as you can see on the completed, it is still showing up. And then what we could do if we hover underneath grade, we can actually say the average. That way you know the average grade that you're getting. Thank you so much for watching. If you were interested in my headquarters template, I cannot recommend it enough. It is perfect for anyone managing their school life or managing university. If you have a part-time job or a full-time job, managing your whole social life, managing everything that you've got going on, this is the all-in-one Notion system that you need. Be sure to check it out, and thank you for watching.